let's talk about the possible options. Obviously, Russell Wilson would be, but he's a little bit lower on the tier than Stafford. You would also have to think that just maybe, just maybe Kirk Cousins is a guy they would want to revisit, but he's got some medical issues. We've heard about that shoulder thing. They might want to at least do a medical check on him and explore that. I'm understanding that even though the Saints have been talking up that they want to keep Derek Carr, I'm hearing here at the combine that that's not exactly in stone. Carr is not 100% got his feet sold with the Saints. There could still be a parting of the ways there. So those are some of the top names that you would be thinking about. If the Giants decided to go on to the second shelf of quarterbacks, well, if the Rams decide they're going to go with Aaron Rodgers, then Jimmy Garoppolo is out of there. He wants a chance to start. He has already started in the Super Bowl. He was with Brian Daboll when he came in with the New England Patriots as a rookie quarterback years ago. And I honestly believe if you're talking about a second-tier quarterback, Jimmy G is a guy who would make an awful lot of sense to me. He checks a lot of boxes.
If they go tier 2 in quarterback, does that mean they have to try and draft a quarterback within that top 3? Do you trade? Does that bring pressure to trade up and grab the quarterback that you love, or do you hope that one falls in your lap at 3?
I do think if you go to a tier 2 quarterback, you are more likely to put more pressure on yourselves to get a quarterback in the draft. I don't think it's going to be Ward or Sanders. I do believe Ward is by far the best quarterback prospect in this draft, but I think he's going to go 1 or 2. And you don't trade the kind of assets that it would take if you're the Giants to move up into one of those 2 spots. It is too expensive. The Giants are not in a situation where they can afford to be giving up mega draft capital either this year or next year. I would think more likely what you might see them maybe do is try to grab Jackson Dart, maybe at the top of the second round or even trade it to the bottom of the first round.
Joe Schoen put together a pretty strong rookie draft class last season. Do you think there's pressure on him to do it again this year? Is it too much pressure, or do you think it's possible?
I do think it's possible, but let me expand your question, Brandon. I don't think it's just about the draft. As we just mentioned a few minutes ago, we're talking about free agency and trades being a very big part of what the Giants are going to be in 2025. So I think it's the entire offseason collection that Joe Schoen has to ace if the Giants are going to put up significantly more wins in 2025 and allow co-owner John Mara to believe that the team is going in the right direction. Now, I will say this. The deepest parts of this draft are defensive line, running back, and tight end. I think the Giants are going to come out of this draft with 2 defensive linemen. You could do that. There are so many good ones. And I also think they can grab themselves a power back to team with Tyrone Tracy. Now, what they are thin on in this draft is corner. And we know the Giants would love to add a corner if they could. And if Jason Pinnock decides to leave via free agency, they'd also love to add a safety. It's not a great safety class. The other item they'd like to fill is a depth on the offensive line. And there are some depth-type players at offensive guard in this draft, but you're not going to get very many starting caliber guys.
And I wonder if there's a receiver, just in case, what happens if Darius Slayton, leaves, or they don't re-sign Darius Slayton. I wonder if there's a receiver that they could draft maybe in a later round that could come in and they can get some sort of value and production out of as well. Dots, thanks for taking your time to come and talk draft, talk football with us. We always appreciate it.
I knew you would talk about a wide receiver before we were done. Have a great day.